Cats. He neither toils nor spins. He is a parasite on you, but he does not love you. He would die, cease to exist, vanish from the earth. I mean, in his so-called domestic form, but so far he has not had to. There is the fable, Chinese, I think, literary, I am sure, of a period on earth when the dominant creatures were cats, who, after ages of trying to cope with the anguishes of mortality, famine, plague, war, injustice, folly, greed, in a word, civilized government, convened a congress of the wisest cat philosophers to see if anything could be done, who, after long deliberation, agreed that the dilemma, the problems themselves, were insoluble, and the only practical solution was to give it up, relinquish, abdicate, by selecting from among the lesser creatures a species, race, optimistic enough to believe that the mortal predicament could be solved, and ignorant enough never to learn better. Which is why the cat lives with you, is completely dependent on you for food and shelter, but lifts no paw for you, and loves you not. In a word, why your cat looks at you the way it does. William Faulkner, The Reivers. The cat's seriousness. Among the things that kittens hate, a doll comes almost first. 'Tis bad enough to share its plate, to wear its clothes is worst. Luxurious or dignified no kitten ever looked, with bonnet strings severely tied, and cloak severely hooked. E.V. Lucas, A Cat Book. Mehitabel meets her mate. 'Tis the right of a modern tabby to choose the cats who shall father her kits, and it's nice to be sure their pasts have been pure, and they're free from fleas or fits. Trial marriage I tried till I thoroughly tired, and I suffered somewhat from abduction, and my heart it was broken again and again, but 'twas excellent instruction. I always have been rather awesomely blessed with the instincts of a mother, and my life and my fate have been down to date, one kitten after another. Triplets, quadruplets, quintuplets, in a most confusing succession, and it seems to keep up whether times are good or wallowing in depression. And this is in spite of the terrible fact I am not a real homebody, but an artiste who views the domestic career as damnably dull and shoddy. For I am a lady who has her whims, no tomcat holds my love. If I come to feel I have plighted my troth to a little mauve turtle dove. But at last I have found my real romance, through the process of trial and error, and he is a ribald brute named Bill, one-eyed and a holy terror. His skull is ditched from 100 fights, and he has little hair on his tail, but the son of a gun of a bridled Hun is indubitably male. Don Marquis, The Lives and Times of Archy and Mehitabel. Krazy, Reflection Number 1. 2 years ago, if anyone had said I'd do what since I've done, if anyone had told me that I'd leave my chair to let a cat out of the house at 7:10, and rise to let her in again at 7:12, and let her out at 7:16 or thereabout, and rise once more to weary feet, the whole performance to repeat, at 7:18 and 22, I should have answered "Nerts" to you, and "Nerts" I should have sneered again. But that was then. Ah, that was then. Baron Ireland, Our Cat. Uncanny. There is something so peculiar in a cat's mysterious ways, that I'm inclined to think I hit the mark, in hinting at affinities with beings we can't praise, and do not like to think of after dark. Have you noted, a cozy winter evening, in your chair, you would start up with a sudden, "Oh, dear me," as you caught intently gazing at a thing that wasn't there, the feline member of your family? Have you noticed how she listens with a sharp and anxious ear, and how she moves her head along the wall, and you get so very nervous at the things you cannot hear, that you hardly dare to go to bed at all? It is only that her senses, preternaturally keen, at night are very, very wide awake, and she looks at trifling shadows on the ceiling or the screen that our dull human vision does not take. For the very softest footfall of a mouse in distant wall does not escape that most attentive ear, which is tuned to fine accordance far beyond our human call, yet it sometimes makes us feel a little queer. I wish they wouldn't do so, for it isn't very nice to have attention drawn from pleasant book, and nervously imagine when they only think of mice, and feel a strange sensation when they look. Elliot Walker, Cat Tales in Verse. Singular attachments. The cat, like many other animals, will often form singular attachments. One would sit in my horse's manger and purr and rub against his nose, which undoubtedly the horse enjoyed, for he would frequently turn his head purposely to be so treated. One went as consort with a Dorking cock. Another took a great liking to my collie Rover. Another loved Lina the cow, while another would cosset up close to a sitting hen, and allowed the fresh-hatched chickens to seek warmth by creeping under her. Again, they will rear other animals, such as rats, rabbits, squirrels, puppies, hedgehogs, and, when motherly inclined, will take to almost anything, even to a young pigeon. Harrison Weir, Our Cats and All About Them. Corporation cats. Cats are the only animals which are ever really owned by clubs and corporations. A dog, if it nominally belongs to a company of men, is really the property of some individual man. It must have a master. A cat, being always its own master, lives happily under a corporate body. Some of the lordliest and most self-satisfied beasts I have ever known were club and college cats. A cat belonging to one of the London dock companies was almost ridiculous, if a cat could be ridiculous, from the airs of possession and self-importance which it assumed in regard to the company's vaults. Sir Frederick Pollock has shown us, in the Senior Fellow, to what a pitch of dignity a college cat may rise when it is once on the foundation of a learned society. The Spectator. The friendship of a cat. It is no easy task to win the friendship of a cat. He is a philosopher, sedate, tranquil, a creature of habit, a lover of decency and order. He does not bestow his regard lightly, and, though he may consent to be your companion, he will never be your slave. Even in his most affectionate moods, he preserves his freedom and refuses a servile obedience. But once gain his absolute confidence, and he is a friend for life. He shares your hours of work, of solitude, of melancholy. He spends whole evenings on your knee, purring and dozing, content with your silence, and spurning for your sake the society of his kind. In vain, loud meowlings from the neighboring roof summon him to those choice entertainments where red herrings take the place of tea. He pays no heed and cannot be tempted from your side. If you put him down, he leaps back again, mewing a gentle protest. From time to time he looks into your face with eyes so human, so full of understanding and regard, that you are smitten by fear. Can it be possible that there is not thought behind that absorbed and mysterious scrutiny? Theophile Gautier, Menagerie, Intime. Practice. Cultivate your garden, said Goethe and Voltaire. Every other task is wasted and dead-born. Narrow all your efforts to a given sphere. Seek your heaven daily in a bit of ground. So my cat behaves, like a veteran. He brushes well his coat before he sits to dine. All his work is centered in his own domain, just to keep his spotless fur soft and clean and fine. His tongue is sponge and brush and towel and currycomb. Well he knows what work it can be made to do. Poor little wash rag smaller than my thumb. His nose touches his back, touches his hind paws too. Every patch of fur is raked and scraped and smoothed. What more has Goethe done? What more could Voltaire do? Hippolyte, Taine. A home without a cat. A home without a cat, and a well-fed, well-petted, and properly revered cat, may be a perfect home, perhaps, but how can it prove its title? Mark Twain. My cat. Deep in my brain walks to and fro, as well as in his own domain, a handsome cat of gentle strain. Scarce can I hear his mew so low. His tender call wakes not alarm, but though he growl or softly sound, still is his voice rich and profound. There lies his secret and his charm. No other bow can ever bring from my heart's perfect instrument such royal notes of deep content, or waken its most vibrant string. Then can thy voice, mysterious puss, seraphic cat, and cat most strange, as a celestial scorning change, as subtle as harmonious. With growing wonderment I see the fire in thy pale pupils glow. Like watchlights when the sun is low, thy living opals gaze at me. Charles Pierre Baudelaire. Amuse a cat. Everything that moves serves to interest and amuse a cat. He is convinced that nature is busying herself with his diversion. He can conceive no other purpose in the universe, and when we sport with him and make him leap and tumble, he probably takes us for pantomimists and buffoons. F.A. Paradis de Moncrif. The cat of Egypt. The number of domestic animals in Egypt is very great, and would be still greater were it not for what befalls the cats. As the females, when they have kittened, no longer seek the company of the males, these last, to obtain once more their companionship, practice a curious artifice. They seize the kittens, carry them off, and kill them, but do not eat them afterwards. Upon this, the females, being deprived of their young, and longing to supply their place, seek the males once more, since they are particularly fond of their offspring. On every occasion of a fire in Egypt, the strangest prodigy occurs with the cats. The inhabitants allow the fire to rage as it pleases, while they stand about at intervals and watch these animals, which, slipping by the men, or else leaping over them, rush headlong into the flames. When this happens, the Egyptians are in deep affliction. If a cat dies in a private house by a natural death, all the inmates of the house shave their eyebrows. The dead cats are taken to the city of Bubastes, where they are embalmed, after which they are buried in certain sacred repositories. Herotodus. A cat is nobody's fool. Heywood Brown, it seems to me. Cats are like women. Cats are like women, and women are like cats. They are both very ungrateful. Damon Runyon, Guys and Dolls. The Early Bird. They say the early bird the worm shall taste. Then rise, O kitten, wherefore sleeping waste the fruits of virtue? Quick, the early bird will soon be on the flutter. O make haste. The early bird has gone, and with him Taine, the early worm. Alas, the morrow's plain. O senseless worm, thus we are repaid for early rising. I shall doze again. Oliver Hereford, the Rubaiyat of a Persian Kitten.